Hello and welcome to episode number 55 of the WP Café show with me, Keith Devon.
And with me, Mark Wilkinson. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 55.
Hello.
So, how's your week been, Keith?
Very, 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 very stressful.
Oh, dear. Housey
Yeah,
things or worky things?
all house related. Yeah, well, not all house related. A little bit full site editing related, but mostly house related. Yeah, we were hoping to be moving in tomorrow, but we currently have no running water, so it's looking less and less likely by the minute.
Oh, dear.
And the plumber isn't here, so yeah, I think moving our stuff in tomorrow. We've got loads of friends coming to help us move all our stuff back in, assemble beds and wardrobes and things like that, and then yeah, hopefully sometime early next week. Hopefully we'll be.
It sounds like
In,
the end is near, though, which is good.
it's very near. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it's good. How about you?
Yeah, busy, just working away on various different things. So, our new job board products, we've sold a few of those, haven't we? And we've been integrating a few of those up. So, that's been quite
Yeah,
exciting. And then learning like what you've done wrong in the plugin, like to fix, has been
yeah,
quite good, and like iterating quickly. That's been good all week. A couple of
yes,
client calls. I had one this morning. One of our biggest clients, kind of a sort of like a take stock of where we are.
yeah.
That
That
went
was
well.
good.
So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it
Good to
felt
do a
like
bit.
we hadn't spoken to them enough recently. We missed a few of our regular catch up calls, didn't we? So
Yeah, they fell on
like bank
Mondays.
holidays and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there's
so
Mondays.
there's like
So
hundreds of bank holidays this week. This month,
yeah,
we've kind of missed
it's
those, but
just
it's good to catch up.
it feels
Good
like
to catch up.
those kind of in person, and not in person, but like video calls are really really important to do quite regularly. Like you can communicate by email and Trello all the time, but I just find that as happened with our house project, like the relationship can really degrade if you're relying on like written messages all the time for things,
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
if people aren't good at communicating in that medium. Obviously, it makes it even worse. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
If you have a client that you do business with regularly, even if they're not on a maintenance plan or some sort of like ongoing relationship, speak to them as often as you can. It's always good to catch up with clients. So we always have
yes,
a monthly call with our maintenance clients, and usually a weekly call if it's a project, isn't it, that's going and happening. So it's
yeah,
definitely good to do.
yeah,
If you are watching live on YouTube, please say hi in the chat. A couple of people there. Hi, Tony. Hi, Munch92. Thank you for joining us. Anyone else, please let us know. It'd be good to see who we've got,
yeah,
and then we can interact with you. So today's episode, we've got three topics: block theme, start again, create block theme plugin. I can't speak today. We've got supporting customers, which is based around our products, and product updates is our sort of three topics
yeah.
to chat about. If you have any comments or things you want to talk about, questions that you want to ask, please add them to the chat and we will try and get to them as we can. But
Yeah.
to start with, we'll talk about the Create Block Theme plugin. Now, this was something that I found on Twitter. People were suggesting it was a good way of starting using block themes. If you remember from last week's episode, we were talking about how you've got to start with a theme, and the theme has lots of design opinions, and sometimes you want to strip those back and start from scratch. Well, the Create Block Theme plugin actually kind of does what it says on the tin. It creates you a block theme, and you can essentially start from scratch with the block theme there. So it's quite good. It's got a few options. You can clone the existing theme and start from there. You can create a child theme of existing themes, or you can kind of just create a blank canvas from that you want to start with. Now, this was primarily because we wanted to start with something that would be for our hosted job board clients. That's the clients that we want to build a small WordPress site for and host it for them. So we wanted something that was pretty vanilla out the box, and we could then start to build some styles into it and things like that. So we did that, and this plugin does a really good job of that. The one thing that it does do a really good job of that we were, I wouldn't say struggling to work out because there are some methods to do it with, is adding custom fonts. So the thing you want to do with your theme is you want to be able to add fonts to it. And it seemed that the only way to do that was through code, basically adding them into your theme JSON file and dropping the font files, the is it TFF and WOF or something files into your plugin, into your theme, and then referencing them in the theme JSON. This plugin, the Create Block Theme plugin, allows you to do that without the need for code, and it writes these to your theme JSON file and puts the files in the theme, assuming that your theme is writable, which is something we found earlier today that our theme wasn't, because we had what was it? What I turned on? Disallow file edits was on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which basically removes the theme and plugin editor in the back end, so you can't change the theme files. And then it said we can't write the custom fonts because we can't change the theme files, but that was easily solved. And then it gives you in your blocks in your theme, you've then easily got the fonts that you've added in there available to choose from in the drop down of the font family. So it was really, really easy to use. Found. You used it today. Anything to add, Keith, on that?
Well, yeah, not loads to add because I haven't really dug into it too much. So yeah, I added a Google font basically to a theme that already existed. So I am a bit confused by what this plugin actually does or is. So you can create a block theme. Is that always based off the theme that you've already got installed, or is it literally you can do that with modifications and rename it, or you can start from scratch, or you can just add fonts? I'm a little bit confused about what it does. Like whenever I added the fonts, what was it actually doing? Is it change? It must be changing the actual theme, like the files and the theme that we're already using.
It's trying to write to your theme that's active, essentially, and that's why we're there at the start, because it couldn't write to the theme, so it said I can't do this, basically.
Right.
So it's trying to write it. It's writing to the theme JSON, and it's trying to put files that presumably it's downloaded from Google as a local file, and then trying to put those in an assets folder somewhere.
And I'm presumably writing something to theme.json to reference those.
Yes.
Like, I haven't checked my theme.json file, but okay.
Yeah, that's what it's doing.
Well, that's interesting because presumably whenever we push up a new change to our theme, it's going to override all those. So we've got to look at that and how that actually fits
we don't
into
actually
our
have that
workflow.
under version controller, do we? So
No, because we were just trying to use something like as plain as possible in this case, so it's not a theme that we've developed, is it?
That's
so
right.
that might actually be okay.
So
the
options are export the current theme. Oh no, it's not. So it says export 2023, which is weird. Why would it say that?
And then underneath
It's
that
not
it says export the activated theme with user changes. That's what I've got underneath.
Okay.
Mine says export RecPress, so we're obviously using the RecPress theme that we've built as like.
That's right. Yeah. So I know I'm on the wrong site. That's why.
Yeah, I thought
mine says the same. Export RecPress, which is that site. Create a child theme of it. Clone it.
Yeah.
Which is different to export it. Presumably, it just creates a new theme on the server, which is exactly the same but with a new name.
The resulting theme will have all of the assets of the activated theme as well as user changes.
Yeah.
Assets, right.
And then overwrite RecPress, which means save user changes as theme changes and delete user changes. Well, that's confusing. And then the one I used was create a blank theme. Generate a boilerplate empty theme inside of this site's theme directory, which essentially does that, and you can set a name for that and the bits in the header of the thing. You can put some screenshot on if you want to, and that's it. So it's kind of an empty theme JSON, or as much empty as it can be, with no templates, no colors, anything. So you can then start to do that in the global site editor and the global styles selections and things like that, which is what I wanted to do. So that worked quite well. But like you were saying, we probably would want to do some styling, like basic styling that we want to include in a theme that we'd use for this. And then that's where we'd probably need to then download what we've done, put the styling in, upload it, and then like make sure we don't overwrite it and stuff. Overwrite it.
The last option I've got on the create block theme page is create a style variation. So I'm not 100% sure what that actually means. Like, what styles is it grabbing and from where? Like, I don't know what that saves. But that could be interesting too. And then the manage theme fonts is like a separate menu item. So it's like a kind of separate tool within this plugin. So yeah, very, very powerful and like kind of exactly what we needed in that moment.
The manage theme fonts thing, is it me or does that sound like a separate plugin to me?
Well, it almost is like a separate plugin because all this is under the appearances menu item. So now under appearances, I have themes, editor, customize, because we added a customizer back in, create block theme, and manage theme fonts. So it's like they've separated those two things. So yeah, I mean, it feels like it should be a separate plugin.
Feels like it should be a separate plugin to me, a font manager type plugin. But
well,
maybe.
Yeah, it really should be in core at this point. I think it's odd that users can't use fonts that they want to use on their sites in 2023. But there you go.
I kind of agree with you. I think now.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then the customizer is an interesting one as well, isn't it? Because we use the customizer to essentially customize colors and things like that. By I think you've set it up so that they can use CSS variables and things, haven't you? To change the colors of various things. And the customizer is actually really good because you see a live preview of what you're doing in the customizer. So you can start typing stuff in and you can see it on the page what's happening. And the block, once you add a block theme, it removes it.
Yeah.
So you don't have a customizer anymore.
Yeah, the customizer is dead.
Now there is you can add CSS in the site editor. It's very bizarre. You've just choose a template. Like why? I mean, then you have to go into the global settings, I think it is, in the top right hand side, and then from there you click on like a style actions menu, which is like the three dots, and then you choose additional CSS. So you can put CSS in there, but it's not live preview, so you can't see it changing. Obviously, on the page.
And it's in a completely bizarre place within the UI, like you just said. Like very, very strange. Yeah, I couldn't find it. I didn't think that functionality existed after looking for it.
Yeah, so how that decision ended up there, I have no idea. For me, it should be under design, like on the left panel where you've got template parts.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Once you click editor, well, that's another kind of interesting thing because so I'm on the dashboard. I hover over appearance. I click editor. What do you expect that next screen to be called that you've just gone to? I would expect it to be called editor, but it's not. It's called design.
Weird.
Why is it called design?
I don't know.
Why within design are there no design options? like you can't do anything with like globally with colors, spacing, fonts, custom CSS within design. All you can do is templates and template parts.
Yeah, which is not design.
Which is layout.
It
is design. Really, it's part of design, but
it's confusing.
I'm sure all this will improve over time, but this is we rant about it a bit, so let's not go down that rabbit hole again. Anyway, it has been interesting being kind of forced to use some of this stuff and figure it out. I flip back and forwards. Sorry, just between, especially because I have to use other page builders, like I've spoken about before. I flip back and forward now between thinking the Gutenberg project is the best thing ever to being like the worst thing ever. Why did we ever do this? But yeah, pros and cons. What are you going to say?
I was going to say the positive thing is that we've actually been able to build out a site in the editor. And it kind of works. It
does kind of work.
So, like you say, there's things that are wrong with it. There's things that are frustrating, but I suppose ultimately it does work. I can't see anyone who doesn't understand the basics of WordPress being able to build a site though, at all.
No.
And maybe that's not what it's for, which is fine. But I think that's what it's for.
It is.
Which is worrying.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump into just a quick comment. Munch92, Mark, I had an issue with user clustering or grouping for a project I was on. User clustering or grouping. I was making do with an ACF solution, then bam, your video user taxonomies. I was buzzing. Can you have user CPT? He says. What do you...
Custom post type?
User custom post type?
I don't quite understand what that
means.
I
don't quite understand that last bit. if you can
can
clarify
create a
that.
post type that you can assign a user to.
Is this what he means? The follow-up message: can you essentially duplicate all the login functionality, user settings, etc. in a separate database? You probably can, but I wouldn't go there.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you do that. I
Yeah,
wouldn't really know how to do that, but I bet you can.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not sure why you want to do that.
yeah. Fair enough. Let us
Maybe
know.
there's a reason.
Yeah, let us know
Yeah.
the reason. That'd be interesting. On to topic number 2: supporting customers. And you've written here, Mark, how to get the right information as fast as possible. So this is
Yeah.
something we kind of
I thought
struggle
it's
with
something
a lot.
you struggle with as well.
Yeah,
You get emails from customers, and I'm not blaming customers here, but because they only see like one side of the picture. Like I've done it in the past where you email someone and you assume they know everything about your projects and your scenario and everything. And actually, you're one of 1,000 people that they might have communicated with in the last 2 or 3 days, and therefore they don't.
yeah,
And just seem to be getting more and more emails for support, particularly product support, that to all intents and purposes is an email that basically says, it's not working, can you help? And it's like, yes, I can help, but I can't help until you tell me what's not working. I can't
yeah,
fix it based on that information. And I don't know, the level of detail and assistance you get in the support email is just getting worse and worse, or it seems to be. And I wonder whether that's our problem. Like, what are we not doing right that makes it so that customers don't give you the right information? And is there something we could do to try and improve that situation? I don't know.
yeah,
Open question to anyone that's listening. Is there something specific that you think we should do rather than them? I mean, at the moment, they just send us an email, don't they? And then we sort of action that. But to send an email that essentially says it's not working, I just think is really poor. Like, what part of it is screenshots, error messages, anything is better than
yeah.
that. And it's just been quite frustrating with a few customers, not just one or two recently.
Yeah, my obvious answer is what Munch92 has just said. Like, create some kind of form, probably using some kind of conditional logic depending on the type of problem they're having. But are you having one of these problems? If so, if problem A, answer these questions next. If problem B, answer these questions next. It's like, put a URL of where this is happening. Add a screenshot. Add a give us your license key. Blah blah blah. You just. He says that's one of the best things that they did, which is interesting. So what are your thoughts on that, Mark? Like, is that something that you think would work, or? I still think we'll get that first email, and then we'll have to point them towards the form. That's what
that's what my worry is. Yeah, and I think that's probably inevitable though eventually. Because at the moment we're up at the scale at the moment where people have essentially dealt with me as a person.
Yeah.
So they email me, they've talked to me, they've had me on the initial sales call. I'm been the person that they've communicated with during the integration process.
Yeah.
I'm the person they default therefore send an email to for something wrong. And for the last 3 years, that has been the way in which things are dealt with. We've now got to a point where there is enough customers where that is becoming harder and harder to actually deliver, both because of the amount of emails that I've got to deal with and because there's so many customers, it's hard to understand who you're dealing with. 12 months ago, pretty much everyone who emailed me about Job Relay, I was like, oh yeah, that's them, and they've got that site, and they've got this, and that. Oh, I remember doing that, and I remember we did that to get this working. I can't remember that anymore. We've got to that scale where I can't remember that. So the customer emails thinking that I know everything about their integration 12 months ago, and actually I don't. I need reminding, like, what's your license key, what's your site URL. I actually don't know anymore.
Yeah.
And by doing something like the form, which I do think is a sensible idea, you're losing that personal connection that they have with you. And I think that's a problem because people do like being able to just have the same person throughout the whole journey. They've talked to me on the sales call, I'm the one who integrates it with, etc., etc. But I don't think we can get away from that. We have to change slightly, I think, to make it work.
I think you could probably still keep that process reasonably personal. Like, it's not what we're aiming for, but that could still be as if it's all you. Like, I know we're trying to get away from that eventually, but you could make it a bit like that. So, the form confirmations come from you effectively, and and all the replies to that, but yeah, we're trying to get away from that. I think, like you say, Mark, I think inevitably it's not going to be all you dealing with them. It's like some of that personal relationship is going to die away. But then it's only me if it's not you. So it's not as if we've got this vast team of people. But yeah, I think that could be worth exploring, like setting up. So I wonder how it would work. Would it work where we would get that initial email from them saying the job integration's broken, and then we say, just send something back saying, could you just fill this out to help us serve you better, or something like that?
I think that's, because inevitably they're going to send an email right away, and then hopefully people will get the message eventually that that's how you submit a support request for the product. And then I can see just creating a ticket on Trello, like we use Trello. I mean, and then you can see it as well, and then conversation could be had on the issue, and that could work initially. Yeah, maybe that would be a good idea to try.
Yeah, and we can obviously, once that form is live, we can try pointing people towards that as much as possible, like from the Job Relay website and whatever else. So, I think that's something we should. I think that's something we should try. There's no, I mean, it's easy to set up something basic, and then we can iterate on it and improve it over time.
Yeah, it's just this comment here. It says like screenshot is key. Couldn't agree more. And actually a lot of the stuff you get is like, I'm getting an error with the integration. Well, what error? What's the error? Tell me what the error is.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like, and obviously a screenshot of the error or anything would be great, but the number of times you get that information, it's erroring. It will tell you what the error is, so I kind of need to know that information.
Yeah, exactly.
To be able to help. But,
I think what I can see where this is going to be frustrating for users is when they send you 50% of what we need. So they've sent you a screenshot, but not a license key. They've sent you an error message, but not a screenshot or a URL. And then you're asking them to go and fill out this form. It's like, I've already done this. It's like, I can see that being a challenging scenario. But I think that's just the way we're going to have to be like reasonably strict, like support requests go through that channel.
Yeah. Craig makes a good point here. Hi, Craig. Thanks for joining us. Why not use old support requests to create articles, knowledge base, and route support requests to the knowledge base, and then onto support form if they can't find the answer? Yeah, that is actually something I am doing, trying to write documentation articles about common things that people say. So I've actually done it for things just like, please can you send me my invoice? I've now written an article. Here's how to just go into your account, find your invoice, and do it all yourself. And if someone emails me that, I literally say, point them to that resource. That's how to do it, basically. Mm-hmm. But yeah, great answer, and it does help, and it will help, and we will be doing it. It just takes time to obviously to write those things and get them in place.
Yeah, I think some of the like the support platforms kind of have some of that built in. I don't know if Zendesk and stuff, like kind of takes previous answers and adds it to like a knowledge base. I'm not sure. Like, that'd be quite clever, wouldn't it? That's what AI will do that soon. They'll be able to like look at your like history, and it'll be like, this question gets asked a lot, and that's how Mark has answered it every time. So we'll do a summary of his 100 answers for that general request. Like that'll be a very cool use case for AI. It'd be really interesting. Couple of things more on the chat. I don't know if I just like Munch92. He's really putting some good stuff in here today. So thanks very much. He said, "Yeah, we had the same issue." I don't know what issue we're talking about specifically there.
Being personal, I think this is about.
Yeah, the same issue. I then brought a partner into the business. We just played hardball for a month on the new procedure as I couldn't develop and work and be customer service. He says, I thought it was going to be a big issue, but found our client relationship is now better as they're not relying on Tim for everything. I was always always letting people down. I think that's really interesting. And he says the benefit was that he was letting people down. Everyone wanted to speak to me, but I was working, so now they prefer it as they always get a response. I can totally get that. You can try to be personal, but if you're personally letting people down constantly, that's a bad thing.
Yeah. We're seeing that now. Like I was out yesterday, and we probably get an email every day now, whereas back in 12 months ago, we might get 2 emails a week with help because we only had 70 customers, whereas now there's kind of one coming in every day, and therefore the client doesn't get a response from me, and therefore they better get a response from you, even if it's we've got your request, we're looking at it, so forth, rather than just nothing until I get back or get my out of office or whatever it is.
Yep.
So,
very good.
Some good ideas though. We can have a look at doing those. Thank you for everyone's input. Good.
Yes, very, very useful. The only other thing I thought about mentioning today is that we told people we'd keep them up to date with our progress with like RecPress and Job Relay and stuff. So I think we touched on it earlier, but still going quite well. So Job Relay kind of ticks over to some extent for us. It's growing. It has peaks and troughs. We can see this annual trend now, where we have like 2 or 3 like really strong months a year. There's just like curves throughout the year. So I think we're in one of the kind of troughs that we're kind of expecting at the minute, whether it's kind of a slowish period of the year. But that ticks over and hopefully is continuing to grow. And then off the back of that, we've been growing RecPress, which is a kind of job board product. I don't even know what to call it. Like, it's not a product. It's not a service. It's like a curated product bundle or something with service. I don't know. You think it's a product?
Yeah. To the customer, it's a product. It's a thing they buy and install, just like a plugin.
But it's customized enough to sort of be a service. Like, it's not. They can't just install it and it works. Like, there's a lot of.
Well, they can. It just won't look like they want it to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, actually,
all right. It is a productized service, really. Anyway,
it is a product.
How many people have we got signed up now? Have you got? Is it like 5 customers?
Something like that. Not very many, but enough.
And then a couple more in the pipeline. So
yeah. We've got a few in the pipeline. A few verbals that have said yes, but we need to wait till X. A few said yes, and we'll do it next week or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we've got like 3 signed up, and then we've got a few that are complicated because we've kind of built something else for them that's the same. And what we need to do is get them onto this and then do a little few changes to it's complicated.
Yeah, because we started off it started off as Job Relay Plus.
Yeah.
And we were going to kind of bundle it with Job Relay and then we decided no, this should be a standalone product. So yeah, we've kind of created a spin-off of that a fork of that original product kind of. But
it's nice. It's
promising.
People seem quite receptive to it. Kind of solves problems that they have.
Yeah.
So I mean, the price point's probably not for everybody. It could probably increase. It could probably decrease. We don't know yet. I think one of the things we wanted to do was set it at a level that entices people to use it, and then we can get an idea of whether it's a no-brainer for people or whether it's something that they can't have because it's too expensive, etc. From feedback at the moment, it's probably something that could increase in cost, I would say, slightly.
Yeah.
It's not usually price that is hesitant to people at all, not making them hesitant on it, but we'll see. Yeah.
So not as a kind of sales process, but just because it was asked as a question there, like kind of what it is. It's essentially us installing and configuring and styling some plugins that create the job board on somebody's website, somebody's WordPress website.
And fixing 2 or 3 issues that these plugins do not do and are required for a job board to be successful.
Exactly.
Or to be valid, if that makes sense, without going into too many details. Making those difficult things that everybody has problems with just work out of the box.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
and it seems to do those quite well, which is good.
Yeah. Craig asks, have you elected to just park the social media images product for now? I guess the answer to that is yes. It just did not get the traction that it needed to keep us engaged in it, I think is the best way to put it. A product that we kind of really believed in, especially around the job side of things. We thought that this would be a really easy sell in the recruitment industry. And it didn't turn out to be at all. So yeah, we've got like less than a handful of clients on that product. So it's not something that we can put loads of time and energy into at this point. It's a bit of a shame because I was quite excited about that. I thought we did a reasonably good job on it, and I was excited about what we could bring to it in the future. But it's one of those things that needs that critical mass just to give it oxygen, that it needs with an early product. So yeah, live and learn. You never know; it might come back to life one day.
Might come back with a vengeance.
Yeah,
I doubt it, but we'll see. Anyway, that's all I think for today. We've done half an hour. Thank you everyone for joining us. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Ring the notification bell, like the video. You'll get a notification when we go live. And as we pretty much always forget to schedule this until the day, then it's probably a good thing that you do ring the notification bell. Don't forget yourself, because we nearly forgot. I say nearly forgot today. We nearly forgot to actually put the schedule thing live, didn't we? But we kind of always remember it's here. So But yes. Anyway, we will see you same time, same place next week. Bye for now.
See you soon. Bye.